Hey everybody, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today it's going to be XEXYZ for the NES. This is a side-scrolling action game that also has shoot-'em-up stages, as in side-scrolling shmup sections. And so what we're going to do here is actually go through this entire game from start to finish. I've actually already started playing the game, and the first thing I did here is went into this this third room to get my 45B ball, which allows me to basically shoot at a 45-degree angle. And then I've gone into my first star room as well to try to get my 4th star, which is required to get to the fortress at the end of this first level. But yeah, I just jumped into it right away. I don't usually do that because XEXYZ is kind of a long game. It's probably going to take us at least an hour to go through this. And I've actually already tried recording this multiple times, and I've gotten to pretty much the last level multiple times in multiple Let's Plays, but because of just not paying attention, I have died, and I've basically got myself just stuck in a rut in this game, making it hard to progress. So yeah, I definitely want to try to focus a little bit more in this playthrough, and hopefully we can get through to the end. So you notice that I'm actually skipping a lot of these doors here, and the reason for that is just to save time. A lot of them are unnecessary. The big things you want to get in these early stages is your attack power, which is on this first level is the 45B ball, which is a very good weapon. And then you want to get the 4th star, which allows you into your fortress at the end of the outdoor area. And so now we're inside said fortress, but there are lots of different doors you can go into. There are bits of information you can get from some of the NPCs or non-playable characters, and there are also some mini games you can play to earn some money, which is actually very good to do. And inside the fortresses themselves, you have these little mini doors as well. And this guy right here in particular likes to give you information. You have to pay for it. It's not worth it in most cases, although if you are brand new to this game, it might be worth checking out some of it, because some of it is actually pretty useful later on in the playthrough. But in the early parts of the playthrough, not too useful. You just end up paying for nothing. But our goal here is to get to a black door, which is right there in this first fortress. This first fortress is actually really small, so it's very easy to find this door. And this takes us to a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up section with a twist. There's a couple different doors we can pick at the end of this section. Picking the right door progresses us further into the fortress. Picking the wrong one will make us play the same screen over again. But yeah, XEXYZ is a pretty fun game. It was actually one of my favorite games growing up as a kid. Partly because it's just unique and it's just fun. It's got some unique elements, like again the shoot-'em-up sections mixed with side-scrolling platforming. But I also like the visuals. I like the art direction for, you know, for an 8-bit game, and I enjoy a lot of the music as well. It's a pretty cool game. Lots of cool weapons and power-ups as well, which I will show off as we progress through this playthrough. And yeah, just an all-around good NES game if you ask me. And it's one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, especially not in a positive light. Although I did have a couple of people recently ask me to revisit this game as a Let's Play again. I actually previously Let's Played this game many years ago when on my old capture setup, when I was just using my original NES hardware with composite video. Now we're using the Retro USB AVS console, which is a FPGA clone system. Very high quality, expensive clone system that does the job very well, and it outputs the image via HDMI, takes real carts and everything, and it's just fantastic. It's what I've been using for NES stuff on my channel for the better part of 4 years now, and I foresee myself continuing to use it for another 4 years at the very least. It's a fantastic console, so that's what we're recording this with. So yeah, my last Let's Play of this was actually pretty old, pretty dirty looking, and so coincidentally I had some other requests to do another playthrough of it, and so here we are now. So my goal here after this shoot-'em-up section that we just finished is to get to the boss room, and this is Information Guy again. We'll just call him Info Guy, and we don't really care much about Info Guy in this playthrough, but what we do care about is getting to our boss room, and it's probably this room right here, so let's go ahead and check this out. Now, you do have 2 different types of jumps in this game. You've got a regular jump and then a high jump. You just hold up and press A to do a high jump. It is good to know the difference between the two and use them, you know, use your regular jump when you need to and use your high jump when you need to. There are some parts where it's more beneficial to just use your regular jump as opposed to your high jump. So this is our first main boss fight. We're going to go ahead and use our 45B ball to hit him at an angle just like so, and then dodge his projectiles that he shoots at us. Nothing too crazy here, although we did just take a hit. Bosses in this game have a tendency of hitting pretty hard, so you do want to be careful around them and not be too risky. Don't be too tanky. Don't just sit in place, absorb hits, and not move. That strategy does not work very well in this game. So you're not going to see me trying to tank intentionally like I do in some of these playthroughs. Alright, so one of the other gimmicks in this game is dedicated shoot-'em-up levels. So in between your main areas, you've got these side-scrolling shoot-'em-up stages where you take a cyborg rider and you go through a quick shoot-'em-up level, pretty basic stuff, and then you fight a dedicated boss just on these stages alone. So this is one thing I like about XEXYZ. It's the constant gameplay mix-up. I wouldn't say it does either gameplay style amazingly well, but the combination of the two styles together just makes for an interesting, unique experience that is fun. And it's definitely a good chill-out kind of game for the most part. These shoot-'em-up sections are not very difficult at all, although it is, I don't know, if you're not careful, it is still easy to take damage, but if you're paying, you know, moderate attention, it's not too bad to get through these without taking too much damage. So, and the boss fights are fun, they're not too overly complex, very big bosses as well. Some of them take up almost the entire screen, which is awesome by 8-bit standards. And the game plays very well too. It's fast and fluid, and there's not really any slowdown or anything like that. Unfortunately, it does have a lot of flicker, so some of these bosses can become a little bit more difficult than they should be because of all the on-screen flicker. But that was, unfortunately, just a common thing in this era. The 8-bit era. Alright, so now we're on our second main outdoor area, and again, my goal here is to try to find my next weapon upgrade, which is this one right here. It is the wave ball, and I'm gonna go ahead and go into this door again. If you go into the door again, he'll actually power it up to the second level, and that's as high as it'll go. And so, while I can't shoot out as frequently as I could before, it's actually more powerful now, and so I'm gonna go ahead and just stick with this more powerful shot. These rooms right here have these little demons you can attack. It reveals a lady in the bathtub, and she'll probably just give us some money. And, you know, I am probably going to go into some of these doors to try to get some cash, because on my last playthrough, my last attempted playthrough, I pretty much failed miserably. I died, and then I ended up losing all of my money, and then I couldn't really upgrade. And so that was very problematic. So coming into some of these doors, you can talk to fairies as well. They'll give you a little bit of the lore to the area and whatnot, which is kind of neat. There are some very neat elements in this game, and I got hit by that spider web, which actually got me frozen in place. And this lady will let me power up my weapon for money, and I don't want to do that because I'm already powered up. And let's go ahead and try to hit these star blocks. So the star blocks in the first 5 stages are mandatory. You have to hit at least, you have to hit one that makes the demon's room door appear. And what I'll go ahead and do here is I'll demonstrate a magic item that we could have gotten on the first level. It's called the foot wing. And the foot wing lets us sort of hover in the air. Sort of. Kind of like so. I can do a high jump and then hover like this. It's actually a really neat power-up. And again, this is one of the reasons I really enjoy XEXYZ, is there are some really cool power-ups in the game that are just really fun to toy around with. So sometimes you'll find a frog in some of these doors, and the frog will, he'll offer to refill your health for 90 bucks. Doesn't look like that's a star door. And if you find this girl right here, she just gives you free money, so just go in a second time to get even more free money. So she just gave us $40 for free. Let's go into this door. And I'm doing kind of poor on health, so I'm going to go ahead and... Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip it. I think we'll be fine. This fortress actually isn't too difficult. It's just some of these outdoor sections can be a little bit of a pain because you can just get bombarded by a ton of enemies. And but this is our star door that we have to go into, so I need to go ahead and kill this guy. The trick to this guy is just to wait and then jump, wait and then jump, wait and then jump, just like so. So now I've actually seen other people stream this game online, and they seem to struggle with these rooms pretty badly, and they say this is just very poor design, but all you have to do is just stand where you spawn in at, where you enter the room at, and that's it. You just jump at the right time and then shoot. And it's pretty easy, actually. It's actually very easy. But going through those star rooms, getting the 4th star is mandatory if you want to get into the fortress here at the very end of each level. Go ahead and grab that health. And again, our goal is to get to the shoot 'em up section of this level, which will take us to the second half of the stage. And so these first couple of fortresses aren't very complex. And so this one, you just run all the way to the right and you find it, and that's it. So we hop on this cyborg rider. And then we just shoot things up. You want to shoot up as many things as you can in this game, because you do get extra lives from points as far as I can tell. And so killing as much stuff as possible is good for that. If you're trying to get a 1 credit clear, basically beat the game without continuing. If you don't want to beat the game in one sitting, there is a password save system, actually. And you know, if you go to game FAQs or something like that, instead of like writing down the password the game gives you, you can just go to game FAQs and just pick the password to the level that you last got a game over at. That'll just make life easier. But yeah, there is a password save system. And there are some bonus passwords you can get after beating the game as well. One of them, I think, allows you to go straight back to the final boss, the final boss, which I'll point out later on. And the other might be like a boss rush or something like that. I really don't remember. I didn't look it up before doing this Let's Play. But I remember there being something unique like that in the game, which is cool. So for those of you guys that want to play the game again but have some bonus options, you can get those passwords. You'll see those passwords after we beat the game. And I went ahead and went through that door twice. I wasn't paying attention. Paying attention is actually very important in XEXYZ. More important than some other games, because on these sections right here in particular, if you go through the wrong door, you end up having to repeat the same section over again, unfortunately. So we took the top door that time, twice in a row actually. So what we're going to do is take the bottom door, and there we are. We're good to go. So for some reason, I find it difficult to focus when I'm playing XEXYZ on a Let's Play like this, where I'm talking and playing at the same time. My mind is in multiple different places at the same time, which is one reason why I think I've been struggling to do this Let's Play again. It's this is probably my 5th or 6th take right now, which usually doesn't happen when I do these Let's Plays. And there we go. Just took a hit. Let's go ahead and trigger that guy. But you really do have to pay attention in XEXYZ, because there are lots of endless pits that you can fall into, and you just lose all of your health instantly. And then you get downgraded to your lowest level weapon, unfortunately. And then it's difficult to recover, because things are expensive. So it's good to bank a lot of cash for those moments where you die. But here's our next boss. I just want to go ahead and pummel him in the face with my wave ball, just like so. And while I'm not a huge fan of the wave ball overall, it's actually probably my least favorite weapon in the game. It is actually good on this boss, because it does decent damage, and if I get close, I can hit him more rapidly than I could if I was far away. So there is that. I always just try to keep the wave ball through this level because of that. I don't like it for the level itself, but I do like it for the boss. A good strategy sometimes, though, is to switch back to the 45B ball. But the thing about doing that is, if you want to switch weapons, it costs you money. So the 45B ball usually costs about $40, I think. And if I want to upgrade it a second time, it's another $40. So we're talking $80 just to switch weapons. So not really worth it for me. Right now, it's just good for me to stick with the wave ball. Now, also, when you beat levels, you do actually lose your weapons, unfortunately. That's definitely an unfortunate thing. So there's no sense in wasting my money to change weapons right at the very end of the level, when I'm going to lose that weapon anyway. So I might as well just tough it out with the wave ball that they gave me. Alright, so you notice that every shoot-em-up level pretty much goes dark like this, and it has a speed-up section where you just have to avoid solid objects and shoot random enemies at the same time. Don't touch the solid objects, they will actually hurt you. You have to avoid them if you can. And what this guy does is he just dives right at you. You just want to sort of stay on the upper part, and you'll just avoid him completely, while still being able to do damage to him. Ooh, I didn't... Wow, I actually took damage. That was interesting. There we go. That's more like it. And that's it. Alright, back out in the open. Now this level can actually be quite challenging. You've got these floating guys in the sky. They like to shoot projectiles down on both sides. And there's actually quite a few of them on this area. And that is actually where our star room is. And so we want to talk to this guy first to get our next weapon, which is the moon ball. The moon ball is an incredible weapon in this game. You know, it shoots out multiple projectiles at once. But if you hold down an attack, this laser comes out, which is very powerful. It does lots of rapid damage. But again, you'll notice that there was only one laser. Since I've talked to this guy a second time, it's going to be 2 lasers now, just like so. So it's just an excellent, excellent weapon. Probably a little overpowered, but, you know, so is the next weapon we're going to get, which is called the laser. And the laser is also overpowered and a very good weapon. So take advantage of these overpowered weapons. Don't feel bad for using them. The game gives them to you, so take advantage of it. Now, one downside to XEXYZ is when you come out of doorways like that, enemies always respawn. Sometimes they'll respawn just right on top of you, which can be a little frustrating. And I have to be very careful here because it's very easy to fall into pits and then die. And these guys just keep respawning, which is a little aggravating. So let me just try to take them out one at a time. Just like so. So these guys come by, they loop around, then they fly off the screen. And I'm not going to go in that door. I don't really care. And we're just going to go ahead and take our time here. So there's a frog you can actually talk to on these levels. And what he does is actually will give you all of your health back. Granted, he charges you for it. And he charges a pretty penny. It's $90. So that is a lot of cash in this game. Let's go ahead and just take our time. Just wait for these guys to do their little song and dance, and then let them fly off the screen. L is life, by the way, and these E pickups add to your E ball on the top right. The E balls are... that's your money. It's just a fancy name for money. And you can also shoot up just like so. If you get the mirror power-up, which is actually available starting on this level, you'll get 2 of your character. So one character will basically be stacked right on top of you, doubling your firepower, including your upward shot. 2 shots will come out instead of 1, which is pretty cool. So this level, the dreaded drops are introduced. These are some of the most annoying obstacles in the entire game, unfortunately. They appear pretty early in the playthrough. Let's go ahead and come on up here. Again, our goal is to find that black door to take us to our first shoot-'em-up section. Let's come on over here. It's not there. Let's come down here, see if it's down here. Yep, there it is, and there's some life right there. Do our high jump. Just like so. Tricky rooms to get past. Very tricky rooms to get past. So these are speed power-ups right here. They speed you up. And then the P's give you your main attack firepower. A main attack firepower upgrade. And again, trying to just kill as much as I can to get those points, to get those extra lives. Ideally, I'd rather just not die at all. Because, you know, when you die in this game, it can be difficult to recover sometimes, because these later levels, they're not really meant to be played with your rinky-dink default shot. And I find that to be the most difficult aspect of recovering in XEXYZ. And let's go ahead and take the top route. And there we go, second half of the fortress. And this is going to take us to our boss fight, but these droplets do not do not want to let me. And there we go. It's actually very easy to get hit by those last couple of droplets and then die. Now, one nice thing that I didn't mention yet is that when you land on this boss saucer, it actually refills your health bar completely. So if you get to this boss without max health, well, you'll get max health the second you step on the saucer. So you always fight these bosses with full health. But just because you have full health doesn't mean you can screw around, because these bosses can do a lot of damage to you. Now, it would have been very helpful to go get the mirror power up. I would have killed this guy a lot faster because it would be double the firepower. But, you know, it doesn't really matter. The moon ball is a really good weapon. It's very powerful. It does really well on pretty much any boss that you use it on. Alright, next Cyborg Rider shoot 'em up stage. So those little enemies that come up from the back and they sort of just, you know, hover on the screen, they will actually make the screen flash, and when the screen flashes, you just take damage instantly. No way to avoid it, so you want to kill those things instantly, or as fast as you can at least, to avoid taking damage. You want as much health on these bosses as you can, so you want to take as little damage as you can. Because I find that on these dedicated shoot-'em-up stages, the bosses deal the most damage in the game. They deal a ton of damage. Alright, boss time. Man, that was some mashing. That hurt my hand. I was mashing really fast there. Oh, man. Whew. I love the NES controller for mashing, though. It's so good for that. I struggle to mash as quickly on other systems. I find I'm definitely the fastest at mashing on the NES. Alright, I'm not going to worry about this one. But again, you got to watch out for those respawning enemies when you come into these rooms. So here's Typhoon. This is our second magic item. Or not second, this is technically our third magic item. But we'll go ahead and take it. I don't know if this really upgrades on, you know, I don't know if the upgrade stacks. I'm not going to worry about it. So this is the item shop. I do want to buy a weapon to... because the Typhoon, unfortunately, is just a limited option, or a limited magic item. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use this Moonbeam once. Or buy the Moonbeam once, and then hopefully we'll find the lady that can upgrade our firepower. So she'll probably charge me 30 or 40 by this point in the game. I think she starts off at like 20, and then her prices rise as you go through the game. And again, one of the downsides to going into these rooms is the second you come out, all the enemies respawn. So again, we just stand in place and we just jump and shoot. And I mistimed my rhythm there. So jump and shoot, just get back in place, and then start the whole pattern over. Just like that. So when you go into these rooms, you don't even have to move an inch. You just stay in the spot that you appeared in, and then you're good to go. I don't know why I was taking a hit there. I think one of the enemies behind the rocks was actually shooting at me. But some of these later levels, they are pretty dangerous. So this is a fun little room. You can bet 20 to earn money, but you always earn at least 30, so you always come out on top. So if you find these rooms, play them out, play them twice. All these little bonus rooms with these bonus mini games will give you you can do them twice. So this is where I can power up. Let's see what it is. It's 40. Okay. There we go. So now our moon ball is maxed out. And this guy will refill my health. I'm not going to go for it because I think we're close enough to the fortress where it's not going to matter too much. And we get some life right here. Let me come back down here and grab that from down below. Taking a lot of hits, but that's okay. There are going to be some life opportunities in this fortress, I'm sure. One of them is actually right up top here, and this is actually kind of interesting. So we want to come up and grab this right away. If we don't grab this right away, we'll see it from down below, and then when we come back and try to get it again, it'll despawn. So it'll go away permanently, and we won't be able to grab it. So we're going to come down here. And let's try this one down here. Yep, this is the right one. Grab some health, grab some energy balls. Maybe they stand for economy balls. I don't know. Because it is money. Not really too worried about getting powered up with these levels, since these levels are just temporary. You know, no bosses or anything. Doesn't really matter if I'm maxed out on firepower. Let's try the bottom route. Nope, bottom route was wrong. So when I play XEXYZ, I don't ever have these routes memorized. It's basically trial and error every time I play the game. And it's not the end of the world if you don't get the right path, you just end up doing the same section over again. So since we took the bottom route, though, we need to take the top route. We need to make sure we go ahead and take the top one. Here we go. Try the top one again. Now that we're a little bit farther into the game, we actually have to play out more of these levels too. So instead of there just being 2 rooms, now there are 3. And on the final fortress, we actually have to do 2 separate versions of these, or 2 separate instances. And there we go. That was the right one. Alright, there's some life right there. Now we can just go straight to our boss fight. And let's see, where is it? It's probably up there. It is not up there. But what I can do is buy a magic item. Let's go ahead and buy the mirror. Footwing is the most useful for, you know, your platforming, which can be a little tricky for some people to deal with. You notice that Apollo here, our character, he just falls like a tank. So, you know, if you slip off the platform by accident, you just fall really, really fast. Now, the thing about the mirror attack, or the mirror magic ability, is I don't want to take too many hits, because if I do, I lose it. And you don't want to lose it before you go to the boss, because that means you're going to have to buy another one if you really, really want it. And there we go, got our health back. We're going to go ahead and just sit all the way back, just like so. Or I can get up close. Now, your top Apollo, your top character, actually does not take damage. So that is one thing that's nice about the mirror. Only your bottom character takes damage. Your hitbox still remains exactly the same. So it's actually very easy to keep it, you know, because you're really overpowered when you have it. And it's very easy to stay overpowered with it. Alright, so now I'm gonna be collecting power-ups because I want to be powered up at this boss, and I also want to be fast for the boss too. So I believe this is going to be our shark boss, which is actually a pretty cool boss. It's a really neat looking boss. Almost looks like something straight out of the Darius series. Alright, so what we want to do is just stay up here and go up and then down. And then up and then down. And up and then down. Up and then down. Dodge these projectiles, and if I wanted to, I could shoot them in the back, just like so. And then up and then down. Up and then down. Up and then down. Up and then down. Just like so. Up, down. And that's it. Fairly quick kill. Pretty happy with that. Alright, so this is our last outdoor area. Nope! Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. For some reason I thought we were at the last level. This might as well be the last level because this boss is very challenging. And that is not the one we need. We want to watch out for these heads that bounce around. Let's go ahead and power up our weapon, just to make life a little bit easier until we get our next weapon, which is going to be the laser. But again, you know, when you come out of doors in this game, enemies just spawn pretty much right on top of you sometimes, which can be very annoying to deal with. That upgrade was actually pointless because our laser was right here. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade it. I don't know if the laser really changes without upgrading it. Or when you upgrade it, sorry. You have to watch out for these little volcanoes in the ground. And those can be tough to deal with. Let's go ahead and buy a magic item. We'll go ahead and do the mirror again. Typhoon's not bad for this part right here because you can take a lot of kind of unfair damage, which can be a little frustrating. Or more droplets coming down from the ceiling, so we need to watch out for those. Let's come on in here. The enemy boss in this area is very tough. Be careful. And they're not wrong. The boss in this area is actually quite challenging. Probably the most difficult boss in the game, if you ask me. Requires a lot of micro-dodging. And there we go. So this little fairy will just give us some money. Let's come on in here. Good luck. Take this 20. I will be happy to. And I will take this right there. I'll take another 20. Thank you. Back up to 270. You gotta watch out for these ships up top. They have a tendency of just dropping enemies right on top of you. Especially right now. And it is actually very cool that you can destroy those ships as well. So I think I'm not gonna spend the 90. I could spend 90 right here and get my health back, but I'm not going to. This part's a little tricky as well, unfortunately, so we're probably gonna end up taking some damage, and yep, we ended up losing our mirror. But we can get mirror again because there will be another shop inside the fortress. So again, for this room right here, just wait, jump and shoot. Jump and shoot. Jump and shoot. Jump and shoot. Laser shoots a nice long beam with just one button press, as long as you're holding down the button. See, just right there, that's just one button press. Alright, fortress time. Alright, shoot 'em up section. So, when I play XEXYZ, you know, just like these side-scrolling shooter sections, I don't have the main levels themselves memorized either, so I usually just try to go somewhere first, and if it's the wrong place, I have made a mental note of where the other, you know, entryways are, or the doorways or whatnot, and then I just go through them. I just use the process of elimination, and I just take them out one by one, or I go through the doors one by one, until I find the right one. I don't usually explore these places intentionally just because I don't really have a need to. I already know what my goal is. My goal is to get to the boss at the end. I don't need to talk to information guy. I don't need to upgrade my weapons unless I've died. There are some other rooms of note, like, you know, in these later levels, you've got rooms that have life pickups. And those are good to know because those life pickups will constantly respawn endlessly. So you can just go into the room, get the life, exit the room, go back into the room, get the life, rinse and repeat. So very good to know. And that was good. And let's come down here. And let's try this one. There's some life right there, which is nice. And I believe this is the boss over here. So what I really should do is go buy the mirror power-up. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to take him out as is, just as solo Apollo. I'm gonna try to attack his bottom tail, gun tail, right as he appears, just like so, to get some free hits. I'm gonna try to do some micro-dodging here. And this is why the fairies in the beginning said this guy is very tough, because he is actually very tough. But shooting his tail as he comes in allows you to get a lot of free damage on him before he starts bouncing around like an idiot. He's definitely the kind of boss that clearly looks like he's had a bad day. Or several bad days, if not years. But yeah, definitely the toughest boss of the game, if you ask me. He does a lot of damage, very easy to die, and that's probably one of the most frustrating parts in the game for people that play this. So this is our last dedicated shoot-'em-up stage, outside of the next one that's in the next fortress. But this upcoming fortress is our last level in the game. Of course, we got one more outdoor area too, leading up to the fortress as always. Now what's kind of cool about this outdoor area is that there is no force star you have to get, because the way you get into this fortress is by having all 5 force stars from the previous levels. So the little star blocks are just optional now. I've lost a lot of health here, unfortunately. We might end up dying to this boss if I'm not careful. Now he's got 2 fists that come out, and then he's also got these orange shots, and they all do lots of damage. And there we go. I was trying to mash as quickly as I could because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to survive that with so little health. But you notice that of the health I have, he took away over half of it. So even with the full health bar, he is still doing a lot of damage. Alright, so my goal is to get to my first power-up location. Hopefully without taking too much of a health loss. So we'll go ahead and power up with her first, just so I have a long-range primary or stock projectile. And then hopefully I can find another shop, which was ironically right, you know, right after. So we'll go ahead and do, we're gonna go ahead and do the moon ball. I do think the moon ball is more useful than the laser. And what I'm gonna do here is do the magic item. I'm gonna do mirror. Just like so. We're gonna come back to this lady just to save a few bucks. Yeah, it looks like her power-up price might actually be the same for the entire playthrough. I'll have to try to verify that sometime. Now, since we've got all 5 4-stars, we don't have to go into these rooms. But there are still some bonus bosses that we can fight. Basically, these guys right here. To get some money. So it actually is not a bad idea to go into the fortress with extra cash in your pocket. Because, you know, if you die, you need that money to get powered up again. Because there's no one giving you free handouts inside these fortresses. Not at all. Just taking my time here, killing these guys one by one. Another... Ooh, information guy. Let's see what information guy has to say. Boss's weakness is its eye. That is actually sort of true. So that's actually not the worst information I've seen in this game. Let's see if there's anything in here. Nope. And here? Nope. It would appear... The door would appear much faster if there was something in there. Okay. Ooh, just barely got that. Alright. Last level. We've got different music for it, too. So there's one gimmick here that information guy actually tells you. But it's not something that matters yet. Because again, just like before, it's all about going through your shoot-'em-up sections. It's on the last section of the fortress, after you've done your shmup stages, where it matters, and I'll talk about that once we get there. So for now, we just kick back and relax with more running and gunning, or flying and gunning. Let's try the bottom one. Bottom one was wrong. There we go. Let's try the top one, and that was right. Alright, next part. Let's see what's in here. There we go. This is a really nice door. And we're gonna go ahead and just do it again. Alright, nothing of note here. Try to trigger this guy's projectile. Now you could actually jump over and their projectile would just ram right into you. So you want to try to jump over them first, trigger their projectile, otherwise you might get hit and then get knocked into the pit. Alright, nothing of importance here. We're looking for our next shoot 'em up section. And down here. And there it is. We're getting very close to the end of the game, guys. And yet another Let's Play under our belt. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this playthrough. I know XEXYZ can get a little monotonous. As such, it's a little difficult to Let's Play because you end up just touching on the same topics over and over again. And so, you know, there's a point where I basically just stop talking. I do think the game is quite fun. I think it's actually held up pretty well, despite some of, you know, its more repetitive moments. And I think it's definitely a game worth checking out if you've never played it before. It's a good, pretty chill game, to be honest with you, especially once you get decent at it. We'll go ahead and take the bottom route. There we go. It was one I actually played a lot as a kid, and I've played it quite a bit over the years as well. Quite a large score, too. That's what happens when you shoot a lot of stuff. Let's try the top one. Top one was wrong. Try the bottom one. There we go. Alright, so this is the last stretch of the game. And we're gonna go ahead and try to find a shop. And this is information guy again. I'll give you some information for 20 bucks. Yes. You must beat all 3 guards in order to advance to the boss's room. So that's actually good advice. So if you got here and for some reason you just got stuck, you didn't know what to do, well, that's what you need to do. You need to kill the 3 guards. And the moonbeam is perfect for the job. It is a great weapon for this job. And let's see what this is. Just life. Life is good, though. Doesn't cost me anything. Alright, so our first guard is down here, and you need to take these jumps relatively carefully. So what I like to do is just shoot him like that, or not. What he likes to do is go to one side of the screen and then the other, but sometimes he'll just stop in the middle, and that's exactly what happened. And you notice that he actually does a lot of damage to you, so you do need to be careful when fighting him. Let's see what this door is. You can power up here, don't need the power up, so I'm not going to pay for it. I'm gonna get rid of those guys first, so I don't have to deal with them while fighting this guard. Now your little balls circling around you are really powerful as well. Right, now we need to come down this way, but let's get some life first. Just like so. And we'll do it again, just to be safe. We're gonna end up taking a hit here. Oh, almost. And let's see what this is. It's a treasure box room, so there are handouts on the final, the final fortress. Let's go ahead and do it again. You can always do them twice. We'll try this one. Good money. Came out with a lot. We don't need it. We still haven't found our shop yet. Assuming there is one. There should be one. There's gotta be. I just haven't found it. Okay, so this is actually the wrong way. This is to our boss room, which doesn't appear until you destroy the 3 guards. So I've actually gone the wrong way. I'll take that life. Let's go back this way. There, I forgot there's another rune towards the beginning here. This is probably our shop right there, so I'll go to that after this guy. And that's that. So all 3 guards are down. Yep. I'd like to buy a magic item called Mirror. I'm gonna save my money just in case I die. Ooh, okay. Thanks. Those enemies bumped me in. And I don't really need my health refill either. Because my health will get refilled going into the boss room. Let's come on down here. And I lost my mirror, which is okay. Alright, there we go. So we just have to hit his hands, just like so. Your flicker is probably your worst enemy on this boss. And after this, the head, the red head, actually comes loose, and you have to attack that. There we go. Now we have to attack the head. Watch out for its projectiles, just like so. And just rinse and repeat over and over again. Not too difficult. It was much more challenging as a kid. Some 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago is when I first played this game. This was actually one of the earlier NES games I think I played at a friend's house. And unlike other bosses in the game, there's no indicator that you're actually doing damage to that last form, unfortunately. So, our mission has not been completed yet. So, we need to blow up the fortress. And so this actually takes us to another gameplay style that hasn't been introduced yet. Alright, so what we need to do is actually shoot the core. Just like that, and avoid the projectiles. So I kind of just move back and forth and just weave in and weave out, just like so. Try to shoot 2 projectiles back to back to hit them twice. But you notice that the projectiles actually do a lot of damage to me. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is XEXYZ for the NES. Took us almost an hour to go through, even with just starting immediately. So, but yeah, that's it. Like I said, I think it's a pretty fun game, and mechanically, it's fairly basic, regardless of the mode that you play. And so, you know, it's really just about taking things slow and safe in this game if you want to get through it without dying too many times. But yeah, whoever suggested this again or requested this again, hopefully you were out there watching and hopefully you enjoyed this. For anyone curious, I do have an older playthrough of this if you'd like to see that for some odd reason, just to see where my video quality's come in these last, you know, 5, 6, 7 years. And, yeah, it was good revisiting this game. I did a couple practice runs before doing this and a couple of failed record attempts, so I've clocked a lot of time into this game over the last couple of days, and it's been fun. You know, XEXYZ is still a personal favorite of mine. on the NES, and it's a fun game. I do recommend it if you've never played it. So this is the secret password as well. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to give the video a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, be sure to post them down in the comments section below. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I've got many Let's Plays here and plenty more to come. For everyone else already subbed, thank you for your continued support. And until the next one, take it easy.